I have a question.
Okay.
Firstly, well done to Afghanistan.
Yes.
What a tournament they're having, and the joyous scenes of the Afghan fans celebrating in the aisles of the stadium. What a sight. Feel happy for them. And I feel happier because I also saw a lot of Afghan fans with an Afghan flag here and an Indian flag on the other cheek. Did you see that?
Yes.
And all the Afghan fans of, not fans, friends of Siddharth from the Afghan market have been calling him, saying, we told you so, we told you so.
Please ask them to send videos.
I can ask them, but they'll be too busy partying at this point in time for 2 to 3 days.
They deserve to.
Delhi, Chennai, and now Pune. They are painting the town red today.
There will be a sizable amount of population of Afghanis in Pune as well. It's a education city, lots of colleges,
Yes.
lots of schools. So a lot of Afghan students I know come there to study for higher education. So there'll be a huge population that will be at the stadium tonight. That
Look
will
at
be
that.
supporting the Afghan team. Most of them, as I said, are students. So
Yeah.
it's a big Afghani population there. So what a day at the Gahunje Stadium in Pune for Afghanistan. And what that does is, and we'll dwell on that a little later in the program, what that does is keeps them alive in the tournament. And I had thought that if Sri Lanka were to lose, it'll be a big context for India, because it would then have Q that you want to see in front of India's name, Q mean qualified, would appear, because when we were calculating, there could be 5 teams that could end up on 12 points, and that means India not guaranteed a spot. Sri Lanka lost, yet that Q cannot come in front of India. Why?
Afghanistan.
Afghanistan can finish on 12. We'll explain that a little later, but before that, my question that I'm going to ask the two of you. Does this count as an upset?
No. It doesn't for 2 reasons. One, you saw in previous Asia Cup encounters, and be it in the T20 World Cup, where Afghanistan comprehensively defeated Sri Lanka. Look at 2019 and look at the 2023 Asia World Cup and Asia Cup encounters. Afghanistan ran Sri Lanka really, really close, meaning they could produce that upset. It was just tactical. They didn't know the tactics. That's why they lost in that game to Sri Lanka in the Asia Cup. Otherwise, they could have very well won that game also. 19, it needed an inspired spell from Lasith Malinga to ensure that they could be kept down. So, heading into this clash and looking at how the Afghan bowlers and batters have done as a unit, they had all bases covered apart from Sri Lanka. Far better. I don't think this is an upset. This is Afghanistan beating Sri Lanka, not upsetting Sri Lanka.
I think so too. I don't think there's any upset here, and that's to do more with the context of this World Cup. Now, had you not seen those 2 victories from Afghanistan before, yes, of course, this would have counted as an upset. But you've seen them beat Pakistan, you've seen them beat England. You were actually expecting them to beat Sri Lanka today. I wasn't actually expecting Sri Lanka to beat Afghanistan here, because let's not forget about that Asia Cup match that Siddharth just cited. Let's also not forget the fact that this is a team that has challenged the likes of Pakistan before as well. Had it not been for Naseem Shah, who saved them twice, they would have had 2 victories against Pakistan even before the World Cup was to begin. So Afghanistan have been knocking on the door for quite some time. They're only getting rewarded now at the grandest stage, and I'm happy for them.
I actually expected Sri Lanka to win, because I saw them playing much better than Afghanistan. Even though Afghanistan had got those 2 victories, I thought Sri Lanka, also the pedigree, the kind of cricket that they'd been playing, I thought that they started favourite. But I wouldn't call it an upset, because I have been corrected twice. One by Vajma, the Afghan fan,
yes,
on Sports Today, which said, I'd like to correct you. When we beat Pakistan, when Afghanistan beat Pakistan, don't call it an upset. And then the Afghanistan assistant coach,
Yes.
whose interview we did on Sports Today, which is up there, even he said that win against Pakistan, not an upset. We were always there. We were very close to them. So it's just a regular win. So when you're not counting the win against Pakistan as an upset, then I don't think that this counts as an upset.
Dare not call it.
But it's also a testament to the fact how far Afghanistan cricket has come.
True.
Today, what I loved about them, I don't know if you guys saw those visuals during the match. They actually had a whiteboard as opposed to a blackboard, where they had actually written smaller targets. So at the end of 10 overs, they had broken it into a phase of 10 overs. And if I remember correctly, and I'm sure it will be somewhere on social media, we'll try and find out if we can find that visual on social media. I remember at the end of 10 overs, they had 50 marked in that whiteboard. That 50 was their target. Guess what? There were 50 at the end of 10 overs.
Wow.
And if I'm not mistaken, if our friend here in Shashwat pays attention and can help us look at the scorecard, then we will be able to see, if I'm not mistaken, their target, and I want to revisit it because I just remember having a fleeting glance of them reaching their target in around the 45th over or something like that.
Oh.
And guess what? They've reached it in
45.2. Initially what I thought there was threat of rain in the air. They were just marking the DLS calculations, I was thinking.
No.
Oh.
So because I did not hear the commentary on it, I thought that the way it was marked, because had it been a DLS score, they would also have to write wickets. And I did not see any wickets on that column. So I'm not sure again. So because I didn't see any wickets, even first instinct, even I thought that Duckworth Lewis, but since I wasn't listening to commentary, I don't know.
Okay.
But then I saw them at different stages. And because DLS could be till 20, 25, I don't know. But they had it all the way down till the target. So that could very well have been a sort of plan that they had, or small targets, or whether it was DLS, I'm not sure. But I got the feeling looking at that visual, which is why I said that maybe if we go on social media, because if Shivam was here, he would have quickly found out by now, since I've given so many clues, like some 50 clues, he would have by now.
Should I do the needful?
No, you don't.
Man, oh man.
So he would have found out.
10 other things.
Yeah.
Because mind is not there.
Man, this is the next level planning then. Next level execution and planning, if that's the case.
The one change that I see here, and maybe that's why these former players come with that kind of reputation. You see a Jonathan Trott over there. You see an Ajay Jadeja over there. Look, what a backroom staff, what a good backroom staff can actually. So those are not just big names for no reason. Look what's happening. They didn't have these kind of resources, in the previous World Cup, where they saw not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, all matches being defeated.
Yes.
All matches they were defeated, all the 9 teams that they played.
Exactly.
Look what's changed here.
You've had a lot of interaction with Ajay Jadeja. Did he used to calculate all these things? Is this from the Ajay Jadeja school of thought, if you think so?
I must tell you a few things that I spoke to Ajay. I don't know if I mentioned a certain thing. But as I said, he said he's having a ball of a time with this team. He loves the guys there. And what he loves the most about this team is that they are such free souls. Each of them have such distinct personalities, and each of them are free souls. As in, sometimes what happens when you're a youngster, you're going at the big stage, or you're from not one of the cricketing powerhouses, and you're a bit subdued, you're a bit more careful, and so on and so forth, right? There you go. Finally,
look at that.
Cut to it full frame.
48th over. They got it 3 overs before.
So I just told you, this is Shashwat finally waking up, which is also, this is what I was referring to.
It was nowhere. It was hard to find.
But well done to our producer. Shashwat, he found it. This is that grab which I fleetingly saw during the live broadcast. And because I wasn't listening to comments, I didn't know. So I did see, and that time around they were on the 20th over. So see, it's not that they've broken it down Duckworth Lewis. So this is not Duckworth Lewis. Because then you won't go till 48th over or whatever.
Yes.
And then you would also need to know wickets at what stage, right? And for that, that's a much more complicated paper to have to understand, because it will then mark at the 20th over 2 wickets this target, 3 wickets this target, 4 wickets that target. So this I saw, this is a sort of a breaking down of the target that they had set. And by the way, I saw that, so 10 overs they did reach 50. I remember 10 overs they were 50. We'll take a look. Let me just tell you how close they were to each of those targets, and I'm just going to tell you that. It'll be very interesting breaking it down to just the kind of target that they had.
Even I'll also check.
No, I've got it here. So what is the next target at the end of?
20th over, they were 100.
No, they marked 100.
20th is what they wanted to get to.
Yeah, so I have that here with me. At the end of 20th over, they were 95.
Oh.
So end of 10 over, they wanted to target 50. They got there.
Yeah.
End of 20th, they wanted to be 100. They got there. End of 30th over, what did they want to be?
They wanted to be 150. They were 139 for 3.
139.
So 11 short.
139.
Yeah.
They are there and thereabouts. And then what do you want to see? End of 40th
40.
over.
Yeah, 40th over, they crossed 201 for 3.
So they needed 200.
Yeah.
And they had 201. Dot on the planning. 40th over, they had targeted to be 200. They had 201 for 3.
And they made up for those 11 runs and then those 5 runs there. So 16 runs that made up for in that period.
So they had then targeted to reach 242 by the 48th over.
Yeah.
And they reached it in the
45.2 overs.
There you go.
Whoa!
And this isn't the, like, in case you're joining us right now, this isn't the Afghanistan team, trying to memorize the 50 table. It's not that, because till the 40th over it does appear to be that.
Yeah.
They have broken it in 10 over slots and 50-50 run targets.
Absolutely.
I mean, this is again to the naked eye. By the way, let me just tell you, this is not something that has been reported. Because exactly what they were trying to do, you'd only get to know once you hear from the Afghanistan camp, and I'm sure this could be asked in the press conference or later. Somebody is going to dwell on that, so we'll get more clarity. But basis on what I saw and this image, and because this game was happening, it's self-explanatory. It's quite evident as to what they were trying to do. But I'm still saying we're not. I mean, because I know people will then take out one clip and then put it and this and that. So this is what we have assumed without any confirmation from Afghanistan, but it's quite self-explanatory as to what they
But going by, I'm just reminded of one thing. This whole breaking down of the score reminds me of what Sachin had told the Indian team in the 2011 World Cup final. Don't be intimidated. What is it? You score one boundary every over. That's no big task. You get 200 runs like that. You're only left with 70 odd after that. Finish.
The two lesser teams, I mean, I'm sorry I'm using the term lesser teams in Afghanistan and Netherlands. Their actions and methods have actually grabbed the Cricket World Cup by storm. Look at Netherlands each time.
Yes,
they have that
South Africa
paper. Even the win that they had against Bangladesh, they have that paper by which they note something down. And then they just carry it on the field. Wesley Baresi, after, did you bowl like that? Yeah, maybe that is the way. What a unique innovation that these two smaller teams are doing to the Cricketing World Cup. And it's driving everybody mad with joy.
Yeah, this is an indication. We're only getting more and more indications, I would say, that, at times you need to reset and go back to the convention. Forget AI and all. When did it all start? With Nehra ji holding that parchi.
Yes.
it started much before, many years ago. Such kind of planning started with Hansi Cronje.
Yeah.
Where he had the earpiece in his
99 World Cup.
Yeah, and again a lot of other sport which do it. But again, coming back to the point, don't want to digress. Fantastic performance from Afghanistan, very well organized. And I was saying that I did have a chance to speak to Ajay over the phone, and then he was saying he's just loving the company of these guys, the energy that they bring. And what I was saying is the one very standout feature that he said, that when you're from a lesser team and do not have the kind of exposure that other teams have, sometimes intimidated when you take onto the field. He said the best thing he likes about these guys is they are free-minded souls. They do not carry any sort of burden like that. They just go and want to express themselves. So no burden of the opposition or what they are or what we might be up against, or that fear of failure and so on and so forth, that sometimes lesser teams or people with less experience or not that kind of legacy that other teams have, sometimes it can affect you. You could be overawed also. I mean, when you say overawed, a lot of these guys play top level T20 leagues, but it's very different, the World Cup, right? So what he said is like free spirited guys, just do not care about reputation or anything. They go, they want to have a good time. That's what makes them what they are. And he just said that the one thing that you'd want to do with them, like is to remind them of their history,
Yes.
of that country's history, of how, over the years, for hundreds of years, there have been lots of nations, powerful nations, which have tried to come and conquer Afghanistan, but they could not.
Yeah.
The tribes, the Afghan tribes, even though they would never come together, but even separately when they fought, they wouldn't allow anyone. So they were that,
Exactly.
they were such free-spirited even in that sense, not organized, didn't have new age kind of technology in terms of armory and stuff like that. And yet, you could not,
They have never been conquered in history. if you look.
The British Empire at their peak could not do it.
The Soviets couldn't do it.
The Soviets, exactly. The Russians with, modern weaponry and all the might of the world could
Americans
not
tried.
Americans exactly tried in recent years.
do it. Yeah. They are just,
Next level.
not a law unto themselves, but you get what I'm trying to say. They're just
Fiercely independent in their own way, if you look at it.
So fantastic from Afghanistan. What that does is, and I'll show it to you. Can we have the points table and the thing? So I just wanted to show everyone what this means. So technically, I'm just showing how this doesn't really mean that India has qualified this win for Afghanistan. So India still not qualified and England still not out technically. So why? Because assuming India's remaining games are Sri Lanka, South Africa and Netherlands, assuming they lose all three, right?
Yes.
So India on 12
Yep.
and then South Africa also on 12.
Yes.
Because they've beaten India.
Yep.
I'm just saying. So 2 teams on 12. New Zealand, okay.
Yeah.
So they beat South Africa,
Yeah.
get to 10, beat Pakistan, get
12.
to 12, lose to Sri Lanka.
Yeah.
They be on 12?
Yes.
Okay. Australia,
Beat England and Bangladesh, lose to Afghanistan.
beat England and Bangladesh. So that's 10, 12, lose to Afghanistan. 12,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So now how many teams do we have on 12?
We have 4 teams.
4 teams. Now
Yeah.
5th team, which is Afghanistan, beat Netherlands, Australia, South Africa. 12.
12.
So you technically even now can have 5 teams on 12 points, whereby if that case was to be there, then it comes down to net run rate.
Yes.
And then net run rate will decide. Though, as I said, this is only a mathematical calculation. Logically, if you think of it, there's no chance India is not making it. They'll have to win out of the remaining games, the form that they are in, they will win all 3. Even if they're not to win all 3, they'll win 2. Even if it's disastrous, they'll win 1, right?
Yeah.
So they are through, which means that, 12 in that sense will help. The 14 they'll qualify, but it could still be a dogfight here, is what I'm saying. It could still be a dogfight here, depending on which team wins what. So the table is wide open, any team can qualify. And as I said, even England is not out because permutation combination. The 4th spot, then you are assuming that, I think South Africa win all, Australia win all, India win all, and the remaining everything loses. So there could be a scenario that the 4th spot, New Zealand are on 8, and England also reach 8, and so on and so forth. That can happen.
For Pakistan and England, they have to hope that New Zealand lose all the games.
But they're playing against each other
Then
as
what
well, which will
happen
cancel
is-
things out.
Yeah, the thing is, if every other result goes their way, no other team gets to 8 points from now on. Afghanistan lose all their games, Sri Lanka also lose. Then Pakistan versus England is a
Virtual
straight
knockout.
shootout for a fourth spot.
Virtual knockout.
So
And that's the last game for both of those teams.
Yeah, the second last league game.
Second last league game. as
What
well.
that tells you that we are like well into the league stage, much more than halfway stage. In fact, we're nearing the end of the league stage, and yet you have a situation where nothing really has been decided. Right?
I feel, it's again in hindsight, but I feel so bad for Afghanistan that they lost to Bangladesh. Of all teams, they had to lose to Bangladesh. Imagine if they had won that, and looking at the form there, they would have been on 8. They need not have depended on any other permutation and combination. Their qualification was well in their hands.
See, because for Afghanistan, I think their first 2 matches, I think their first match was against Bangladesh,
second was against
Dharamsala. India. I think they just took some time to, get going, to get into their groove. What that win against England did was give them momentum. And that was like a huge fillip for them. Like that was like a booster dose, let's say, because it's not like they'd done too much in the tournament to give themselves any sort of momentum per se. But then that acted like a booster dose for them, and they just set things in motion for Afghanistan. Good thing, as all good teams do, they're making hay in sunshine right now. They've got the momentum and they're taking all those wins that they possibly can on the way.
Who are the performers?
It was Fazal Haq Farooqi, who's now the man of the match,
Player
with
of the
4
match.
wickets.
No, they were
Yeah.
Jaya, Shushma and...
Nita, Jaya, Shushma.
No, it's not Neeta.
What are we talking about?
Rekha.
Rekha.
Rekha, Jaya, Shushma.
That was...
Yes.
What is this?
Arey, that
Much before your window.
Much. There was an old detergent ad that we used to have.
Arey, हाँ.
Okay.
Yeah. I can't.
Nirma.
I thought I would not take it. They are not sponsoring us.
But they're still there.
They are there.
They're there.
Nirma, I'm seeing.
It's a vintage brand here.
Sabki pasand Nirma.
Sabki pasand.
Jaya, Shushma,
Yeah.
something.
Rekha,
हाँ.
Jaya or Shushma.
हाँ.
Sabki
So who are the
pasand.
Rekha, Jaya
Okay.
and Shushma for Afghanistan today?
So Rekha,
People who did the Dunai.
Yeah.
Is
Yes.
that the analogy?
Yes.
Okay.
Rehmat,
Rex.
Azmat, Hashmat.
Oh!
So in short, Rehmat Shah,
Yeah.
Azmatullah Omarzai and Hashmatullah
As a
Shahidi, the
Shahidi.
captain.
Yeah, captain again leading from, by the way, against
Second consecutive
time against Pakistan, got those
Same
winning
Rehmat
runs.
Shah also.
Rehmat Shah as well. Omar Zai, by the way, got runs against India, I remember.
Yes.
So he's looked good as well. And good on Ibrahim Zadran, the youngster.
And this win will give them far more confidence because Gurbaz departed for a duck. They
Exactly.
did it despite Gurbaz
that,
winning.
exactly. We were all talking that how this thing could go awry for them, this whole run chase, but the youngster then stepping up.
Yes, I mean, Rehmat Shah, remember, he is one of the guys who's played over 100 ODIs. Remember, today Rashid Khan joined him as the 4th Afghan player to get 200 ODIs. What a feat by him. So, 4 wickets for Fazal Haq Farooqi and 3 50s. Rehmat Shah back-to-back, Hazmatullah Shahidi back-to-back, Azmatullah Omarzai yet again showing that he is a very consistent player. That middle order, which we thought was non-existent in the Afghanistan team, has suddenly become so potent in the last 2 matches. Even if I have to look at the last 3 games that they have won, it's potent. And remember, this is a Sri Lanka team that thrashed the defending champions coming into this game. But now,
thrashing the defending champions is not speaking much right now.
yeah, it's not speaking much anyways.
Anyone can.
Like, again, who knew 3 weeks back? But yeah, it's the truth.
Owen Morgan has said this is the worst display by an England sporting team in their history.
But Owen Morgan is saying a lot of things. He also said there's unrest in the
There's
team
rift,
and so
there's a
forth.
rift,
However, that has been denied by the
Matthew
coach.
Mott, yeah.
Though
And Livingston as well.
that's no 100% certainty that if the team is denying it, that means it didn't happen. Because that's what the team is supposed to do,
Yeah.
deny any
Yeah.
such thing. But knowing Owen Morgan and his proximity to a lot of players, I doubt he's going to say something as serious or level such serious allegations without having any sort of evidence to prove that,
Yeah.
right? I'm sure he knows it with with good measure, and only that's why he's decided to do that. So I guess.
So, in 3 wins, they have beaten 3 former champions. 2019, England. 1992, Pakistan. 1996, Sri Lanka. 3 World Cup winners. Afghanistan, this is their tournament, I'm telling you. If there are many memorable moments, sure, there will be some that will come on 15th or the 19th or the 5th.
Yeah.
But Afghanistan winning all their games, the joy of the win in Chennai, I think nothing will top that. The way how the Afghans celebrated, the dance that Rashid had. With Afghan, I mean, that was the most heartwarming moment in this World Cup 2023 so far. It trumped even Netherlands beating South Africa because we didn't know the background of so many of these Netherlands guys. I mean, now we know that Paul van Meckeren was an Uber Eats driver.
Yeah.
We know that Zybrand Engelbrecht was a business executive who had done MBA in finance. Vikramjit Singh, Max O'Dowd, all from different backgrounds. But this Afghan team, now after 8 years, we are seeing the potential, and boy, it's truly heartwarming.
In fact, I was again sort of tend to forget this. Rather, this was trivia for me. We talked about Olympics returning. We talked about that one match that took place in the year 1900 between France and England, the only one cricket match. guess what? There were 4 teams that were supposed to take part. One of them were Netherlands, and they had withdrawn that particular edition. So cricket runs deep over there. There is historical evidence of cricket being there, and interestingly, hockey has had a role to play because hockey is just so popular. What happens over there is with every hockey this thing that they have, let's say franchise or club that they have, there is an associated cricket entity as well. At the moment, there's about 6,000 registered players who are into cricket right now at the moment in Netherlands. So, and what these wins do is, and that too at this stage, it again helps revival of the sport that was once so popular.
And remember, 2022 and 2023, the smaller nations have given cricket far more happier moments. I mean, look at Namibia beating Sri Lanka. Look at even Scotland, Netherlands beating the likes of the West Indies. Not just in the T20 World Cup, in the qualifiers. Now, you had 3 wins. You may say 4 wins. 2 from the Netherlands against Bangladesh and South Africa. England and Pakistan. Afghanistan's win over both of them, didn't make everybody happy. That young kid who came out in the Arun Jaitley Stadium, everybody thought he's an Afghan fan. No, he's a normal cricket fan who was so happy. This is what these victories do, and I hope the ICC wakes up. I think it was Baz the Leader who said, "Please make us big nation,
big team, the big team status." Let's say he wasn't too happy with the associate nation tag. Let's say.
They have given us far more reasons to be happy watching the sport. Yet you just want to sideline them after the end of every World Cup. I just don't understand that.
Today, the Sri Lankan bowlers, I think what's really hurt them as well, just looking at from Sri Lanka's perspective, their bowlers kept, changing throughout this tournament. They've not really had a steady line of bowlers to play with. They got Chamira. Instead of Lahiru Kumara. So he comes in. Mahesh Tikshana is their go-to bowler, but I'm guessing there would have been a lot of dew, so doesn't really help a spinner.
There was.
So that's not happened. Angelo Matthews, who got a lot of wickets for them, just bowled 3 overs today. So I don't know.
Again, somebody who was, included in the squad midway through the tournament wasn't there in the scheme of things. So lots changed, as they've been on the road this World Cup. In fact, the World Cup started with them not having their talisman in many ways in Hasaranga, and you knew they didn't have the right composition. They weren't coming with their best resources, and they were saddled with injuries to begin with. And that trend, unfortunately for Sri Lanka, has continued. That's unsettled. Not very often, let's say, that an injury is a blessing in disguise, because ask the Indian team that you have Mohammad Shami in the lineup as a result.
No, the problem with Sri Lanka is that at the top order itself, they are struggling. There is no backup to Pachum Nissanka. You had Kusal Perera, but he's failed. You got in Dimuth Karunaratne today, even he failed. Then the traditional Sri Lanka collapse. Today you lost 4 wickets for 40 runs. When you were set at 134 for 2, you should have gotten to 280, 290.
Yeah.
But 4 wickets for 40 runs. Nowadays, 4 wickets for 36 runs. No one is going to ensure. Teams like even Afghanistan, Netherlands, they now know we will not take the foot off the pedal. We are going to ensure that you stay down. And just look at it. Who helped you get to 240 even? Mahesh Tikshana. Tikshana at number 9. That summed up your entire problem with the Sri Lanka batting. Now, Dilshan Madhushanka has been getting you wickets. But where is the backup? Lahiru Kumara was that backup against England.
Got you 3 wickets, yeah.
But he got injured. And Dushmanta Chamira, sidelined by injury for 2 to 3 months, you're not expecting him to be back in rhythm and running through opponents. That's one problem. Dew negated Tikshana. Angelo was not bowled much, but anyway he was not going to bowl much. It just showed how badly England played that day in Bangalore. So, Matthews was not going to bowl you more than 5 overs. So, your bowling resources are depleted, your top order is not firing, only 1/2 of the top order is firing, collapses.
And if Kusal Mendes doesn't get you runs,
Yep.
you're not getting a big total.
And Kusal Mendes yet again, the same shot, it's like, what do you call it, a razor's edge. It can work someday, it cannot work someday. He gets many runs with the slog sweep. Yeah. Today also he tried the slog sweep, but he often gets out playing that same shot. So as a batsman, what do? Should I, because it's a perfect 50-50, I get runs, but I also get out with that. What do I do then? Can I curb my natural instinct? That Kusal cannot do. Samara Vikrama, rare failure. He had to have a law of averages could catch up with him because he was your best batsman in the middle order.
True.
Charit Asalanka, Dhananjay De Silva, and Angelo Matthews coming so low down the order. Why couldn't they have had the flexibility and gotten to 5? He needed more time. And that's the reason why lack of flexibility in the Sri Lankan think tank. Unfortunately, that has cost them the game. And now they can only get to 10 points.
Yeah, they are. I mean, they're not out technically.
But they'll need others.
Okay. Questions?
Ashish Dhar is like saying,
So, can we have the luxury super fan, Afghanistan super fan? Zoom.
Not now. Takes time, Shiva.
with Hardik back, hope team does not go back to the idea of dropping Shami and bringing Shardul back due to fear of knockouts. The idea of Mr. Gavaskar saying play Hardik in place of Iyer looks possible.
No, so firstly, Hardik's not back for the next game, for sure. Whether he plays versus South Africa, touch and go, the good news is that he started bowling in the nets. So up until now, he was not bowling, he started bowling in the nets at the NCA, which means now he'll join the team. The reason he's joining the team is because now he can practice with the team. Does not mean that he's going to be playing the next game. So he's going to be with the team and maybe do a couple of practice sessions. But they don't really need to rush him for the Sri Lanka game. Maybe South Africa, you would want to play him. Also, the conditions are going to help fast bowling him. At the Eden Gardens, you want to play him. Also, because you want him to be playing a few more games before getting into the semi-final. There's no point just bringing him straight up into the semi-final. Also needs some time with the bat. While bowling, he's been doing well. Wasn't getting a chance to bat. So you'd want him to play a game or two. But if not even South Africa, then I'm 100% sure it wouldn't be a bad idea to play him against the Netherlands, just so that he starts getting back into the groove. But what happens when he comes back? I mean, there are lots of permutation combinations that can happen. Who knows? I mean, we'll decide closer to that. But it's very tough to drop a Shami, so you stay with Shami. Either one thing you can do is let go of a Siraj in that case when Hardik comes in. So strengthens your batting as well as your bowling. So that is something. Hardik in place of Iyer is Mr. Gavaskar's idea on Sports Today, but that would mean you could do that. But would Indian team want to risk that so early? I'm not sure.
And looking at the changes that I've seen in this Indian cricket team, it's only come about if there has been an injury or if there has been an illness. I don't think they're dropping people out of form. I don't think so. They will persist with their ideal 11 and what they feel as the strongest 11 until the semi-finals, and if they make it to the final, they'll stick with that only. Only if there is an injury or an illness will there be a change.
Also, you've extended a long rope to people, you waited for these guys to be fit and whatnot. You don't want to, what's been the messaging over the last 8 to 10 months? We confide in you, we trust you, you'll deliver for us. Right now, if you do that, by the way, Shubman Gill, who's out of form, sort of, it might just unnerve him. You don't want to be sending across that kind of a message at Shubman. You don't want him to be thinking, okay, he's got to perform now. If Iyer can be put, I'm just saying, if one can be put on the chopping block, why not the other?
What happened with Shubman? I doubt it.
But even Shreyas, I feel this is your.
They're not going to make the change immediately. I think he'll get another couple of games.
Yes. Don't make it like a 2021 situation, please.
Anyway, the next couple of games, Hardik's not available. So just sorts things out on its own. That's what I was saying. We'll see when he's available. By the time we would have seen Iyer's performance as well. And then you could really take a definite call. Tanmay Joshi is saying, very sarcastic he is. He says, feel bad for Sri Lanka, Afghanistan and Dutch. Had Bangladesh not upset Afghanistan and Pakistan not upset the Dutch and the Sri Lankans, these teams had a good chance. So he's clearly being sarcastic in terms of those performances.
Yeah, I know. But I feel the Afghanistan game where they lost to Bangladesh, I thought that was an upset. I honestly thought so. Because Afghanistan had beaten Bangladesh in their own home. And losing in the World Cup, I'm like, come on.
Karthik from the US says, Afghanistan/Dutch achieving more than Bangladesh with less experience. Karthik, I may just add, they're achieving even more than England, by the way.
Yes.
As things stand. Why just Bangladesh? But yeah, incredible what these two countries are doing, because as we know, they do not have that great a setup back home. So despite that, to compete with the best in the world, imagine if they were playing cricket regularly in terms of as much as in India or Australia or New Zealand keep playing international cricket and have good domestic structures and have famous names that play all T20 leagues, are superstars, certified superstars. If all of that was there, it would be incredible. So fantastic to see that.
I know.
It just tells you, see, if we all love cricket, and if you love a sport, you'd want it to spread, and it's lovely to see it spread like this evenly.
And consider this, even after your World Cup performances, will the ICC ever consider the likes of Afghanistan to be part of the main World Test Championship? That is another major hurdle.
But they really need to up their game in
Test cricket, yeah. You see most of the test matches that they play end in 3 days.
No, but where do they get the chance? When was the last time they played a test match? Against Bangladesh, which they lost by 546 runs, agreed. But where have they gotten chances? They beat Bangladesh about 4 years ago. But that is the key, 4 years ago. Then why did you even give them test status? Why did you give Afghanistan, Ireland test status? Just to play one-off tests or 2 test matches? We have to question the ICC also in that context also.
Okay, Piyush Nandre says Afghanistan versus Australia will be a potential quarter-final. If Afghanistan win versus Netherlands and then Australia versus Bangladesh also have great context. If Afghanistan won dramatically versus Australia.
Well, Afghanistan, Australia is happening in Mumbai. So, but we don't know. On flat decks, this Afghanistan batting seems to be pretty good. And remember,
But you know, Siddharth, they're only good, let's say for now, we've only seen them get to 270s, 280s. Against India, that much. Today, again, it's all happening in their comfort zone right now.
yeah, it is. But again, let's be very honest. If they can restrict Australia to 280, 290 with the spinners that they have on a flat deck like this, you don't know. Mumbai traditionally you can't chase well.
If.
Big if.
Sharan Vinokota is saying most Pakistani journalists are saying DRS is fudged and mostly controlled by BCCI. What do you guys think on that? I'll only say that the people that you're watching are not journalists. They're not journalists. Anybody who sits, on a social media platform and talks is not a journalist. So that's all I can say. Journalists are people that go to the ground, report from the ground, or write about the sport. They write articles or get certified. Videos, do interviews, speak to analysts. Those are journalists, right?
Yeah.
Not anybody that just starts a phone and says anything. I know who he's talking about.
Yeah, I know. Only one emoji for this.
Facepalm.
Facepalm.
I'm picking up
That's it.
new age lingo.
Yeah.
Okay, final question we can say. GGK wants to know, isn't this the best Indian World Cup team ever, even better than 2011?
No. I can't. Because see, there you had all vintage names coming together and playing to ensure that they win and end the drought after 2 decades. They were inspired by, can you overlook Sehwag, those names? Sehwag, Gambhir, Tendulkar, Dhoni, Yuvraj, Suresh Raina, Zaheer Khan, Harbhajan Singh.
No, you never know. 10 years down the line, we'll romanticize about these players also if they win. It's
We will.
always when you
We
look
will,
back.
but if I'm just also looking at it, see again, that side had, both sides are different in their own ways, but that side also had match winners. Over there you had that perfect mix of left and right-handed batters which you seek in Indian teams, whatever. Then you had batters who could bowl. Right now you don't have that.
I know, but I'm saying we also romanticize. I think, look at the bowling attack. This is a far better bowling attack
Yes.
than 2011. So it's how you look.
Yeah, exactly.
So I'm saying you reminisce about these things much later.
It'll be a hard
10 years.
pick.
If let's say they win the World Cup, and then 10 years later, then you compare, it'll be very different. So
Both special teams.
yeah.
Yeah. See, it is like asking which Australian team was better, 99, 2003 or 2007. You'll struggle. But most of the core were there who won all the 3.
True.
Most of the core. Here, you had an era change after 2011. Sachin didn't play after 2013. Sehwag, Gambhir all went away after 2013. Dhoni went after 2019. So, this team, see, if they win, they'll be dominant. But I don't think you can escape that aura of 2011. It was an epoch-making era because most of us millennials We all saw the dominance of the Indian team. That's why.
We'll answer this after the World Cup.
No, as I said, not after the World Cup. 10 years down the line, then you can answer, because you romanticize about it.
Yeah.
So Karthik is saying Rachin and Gill. Who else are your next Fab Four?
Oh. I haven't thought about it. Maybe I could say a Devon Conway in that list. Rachin, Gill, Devon Conway, all format players.
But these guys still the same age. Conway, much senior. Like you look at the present Fab Four, all around the same age group. I feel.
Very tough to say that right now.
Tough, very tough.
Who could be those guys?
There is no Bawra in this new.
Yeah, Babar, who knows? He's much younger than all the remaining guys.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Maybe you could have Ibrahim Zadran. Who knows?
Oh, that'd be lovely to have an Afghanistan player join that. That
He's
would be
been
fantastic.
really consistent, Ibrahim Zadran. Or maybe a Rahmanullah Gurbaz. Who knows? T20 and ODI, he could be a white ball great.
Yeah.
Maybe.
It's tough.
Tough. Even from Australia, I don't know who is going to be the next in line for all. Because they too are getting old at the same time and going.
What about that guy, Devil Brevis? Who knows?
Brevis could
Tristan Stubbs.
Stubbs also highly rated.
be one. Yeah.
English is a good guy.
Who knows? It could be. सारांश शो कर रहे हैं यार हम यहाँ पे. No, it's actually. Please go out. Please go out.
It's tough. Australia, I don't know. New Zealand, I don't know. Who's going to be there? I said Conway because he can be your all format great. So, let's see. Tough. Very tough.
Next gen, all these guys.
Yep.
Harry Brook.
No, I think.
But he is also all format.
He is, but I think his peak has come and gone.
Huh?
I think so.
So early.
Yeah. The quicker. No, Labuschagne
He's
is.
much more senior. No, looking very young, raw guys.
There's a good shout from Aparjit. Abdullah Shafiq.
I thought of Abdullah Shafiq. Not a bad shout. Siddharth's got a point. Rishabh Pant says, hold my beer. I mean, he
can.
had he not been dealt with the blow that he
More
was
than a
going
year
through.
and a half gone for him. Yeah.
December
No, but that
2022.
is-
December 30, 2022.
Yeah. Who knows? But the thing is that, the only see when you're talking about that, he's an impact player who will make impacts. But when you're going to look at Fab Four, now these are guys who will get crazy amount of runs.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean.
Yes.
So that's sort of for example, again, if you're looking at Test cricket, Adam Gilchrist could be an impact player, but he would not make the Fab 3-4 of that generation. That will be a Sachin Tendulkar, a
Ricky
Brian
Ponting,
Lara.
Jack Callis, Ricky Ponting.
Yeah, exactly. So that's where I think Rishabh Pant would be more in that mold. So when you're looking at the Fab 4 or something like that, then I guess.
Can you give Yashasvi Jaiswal?
Yes.
How you have to make a mark on international stage?
But
So
again,
early.
After 1 year, let's see if he makes if he features regularly
he has
from
to do a
2020.
lot in international cricket before you pick him in the Fab Four, like the greatest players ever. That's too early to.
If he regularly starts playing from November until the next year and looking at his performance, then I think he can improve.
I mean, you need at least a couple of outstanding years, and to be part of your regular team. Firstly, right now he'll struggle to even make a regular international team.
Correct.
He has all the talent, but it's too early when you're looking at somebody who's at least playing regular cricket for his team. You have to see that, not somebody who comes in as a replacement or B team or C team. That's too early. Who knows what happens in the future?
Exactly.
Too early.
Too early indeed. But it's a tough question, huh? The new Fab Four who will be,
Yeah.
will be a very tough one. And
Yep.
see, I have a feeling that I hope we don't go the tennis way, because for 2-3 decades we had the mastery of Federer, Nadal and Djokovic. Prior to that you had an Agassi and a Sampras. Now after them only an Alcaraz. I don't know.
You don't know who comes up.
But yeah, Medvedev will reach
Again,
there and again underwhelm
But
in the
again,
final.
look at cricket. For India, we have been blessed that from a Gavaskar we went to a Tendulkar, from a Tendulkar we went to a Kohli. After Kohli, who? Same with Australia. You had a Woz, you had Ponting, you had a Steve Smith. Who after them? That's the thing.
Labuschagne.
But again, Labuschagne is just there or thereabouts, but he's not going to be a all-format great. He's not going to be an all-format great.
Yeah.
So that's why we have been. This generation has been blessed with mastery.
End कर दो कोई बात.
Okay.
Okay, looks like there's a problem with the stream, so we'll just end it here because we're audible, I believe.
Yeah.
Are
Harshit's
we?
sleeping, by the way. Yeah.
Yeah, audible.
Okay, sorry about this, guys. The video is
Yeah.
frozen, and as Abhishek Singh in our comment says, you guys should take leave. That's exactly what. We
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you. Apologies.
Yep.
And we
See you
leave
tomorrow.
Bye.
Take care.
getting ourselves the best thumbnail.
And you're sleeping, by the way.